This recording is a sequel to the one about non-reloadable cards, and at the same time, it's going to be nothing but whining. You were warned. Viewer discretion advised. Your brain cells are indeed at risk. Previously, on non-reloadable cards, I usually buy them in two different brands. One vanilla, and secure spend. I pay up however much I want on the card, I pay the activation fee, I go home to check the matching website to see if it's activated, and then I use it. But I don't always use all of it. Sometimes there are a few dollars left. So occasionally, someone in specific, someone I'm not going to name, would ask me for the remaining funds. To which I'd tell them the card details, wait for them to confirm they've spent it, then shred the card and move on with my life. And this worked. Until one day. Specifically last week. When business as usual, I used the card to buy whatever the hell I wanted, and then passed out the details to that one person in specific. But there was a problem this time. They couldn't use it. No matter what they tried, no matter what I suggested, it just didn't work. So we concluded it was probably the brand, but that we have to confirm this next time I get the opposite brand and try to do the same thing. But before we even got that far, one worse happened. See, the last thing I did with that card was to try to subscribe to a channel. Try being the operative word. See, it worked. At first. But the week after I used that card and tried to give it to that one person specific, I suddenly found I was unsubscribed from the channel. Right in my face, too. And so I went back to the matching site the card belonged to. But I couldn't access the card's details. It would repeatedly give me an error. I tried this for 2 days straight, to which I had to conclude. By using multiple addresses with the same non-reloadable card, it must have thought some fraud happened. But that's kind of strange because this is the first time it has ever happened to me. And rest assured, no fraud happened. Because why else would I share the details of a non-reloadable card with someone else? If it were my actual debit card, I'd be multiple kinds of stupid. Non-reloadable cards do not ask for your details. It's not a credit card. It doesn't even ask for your social security. But stranger yet, we have no way of telling how the hell it figured out there was some fraud going on when there wasn't. We have no way of figuring out how the hell it knew separate addresses were being used with it. To which I didn't care up until this point. Because, again, there was very little change left on it. I'm talking just about enough to buy a full-course meal at a fast food restaurant of your choice. That little. But then why am I summarizing and repeating the events I already described in the previous video? Specifically because it caused me a lot more problems than just not being able to subscribe. And that's where this topic segues into another. Specifically, the main topic of this video. As some of you might have already guessed, I'm not the most social person on earth. And time again, this has bitten me more times in the ass than anyone should ever keep track of. That is to say, I do in fact remember every time this has caused me problems, whether on my own or through someone else, both on the internet and off, from an early age. Generally speaking, to the new topic of this video, I get thrown out of communities left, right, and center, in plenty of ways, the most common of which are bans and blocks. For anyone who needs a reminder, banning someone blinds and silences them from your chat room. It used to force them to unfollow too, until apparently the amount of backlash caused the IT department to hit the undo button in record time. Blocking does everything else. Can't follow, can't subscribe, strips the first, prevents the second from happening again, can't whisper, can't host, not written on this list, can't participate in raids, can't buy anyone subscriptions to the channel, and can't be seen in any channels you don't moderate. I mention this because it's going to be important later. Later being right now. I stopped following channels a long time ago. Being thrown out of so many communities so often basically means for me, following is disabled. After all, why bother when I'm not going to be there that long? But in some cases, I do last long. And it's often because the person can put up with my behavior. Even though in recent times, I have toned it down a little bit. Too late though, because mistakes still happen. And I made a big one. That is, I unintentionally hurt someone in their wallet. Remember what I said blocking does? For anyone with the previously conceived memory of a fish, blocking someone prevents them from following you. But also remember what I said it doesn't do. Specifically, blind or silence you from chat rooms. Except you can still make one of those apply. You can turn on followers only mode in your chat room, and the length can go anywhere from minutes, to hours, to weeks, to months. So if you use this fact with someone you don't want following your channel, but still don't want to ban them just to dangle it in front of their face, you can just block them. So they'll still be able to see the chat room, but because it's in followers only mode, they can't say anything. Concerning the person whose wallet I hurt, specifically because I used a card that reacted poorly to me sharing it with someone else, their chat room has been in followers only mode for quite some time now. And by quite some time, I mean just a few days at the time of this recording. It doesn't matter whether or not they know I don't follow, because the damage is already done. And at the same time, I'm not about to try subscribing again, because even though it does pierce followers only mode, that will not only defy the point of having followers only mode on in the first place, it would also alert them to the fact that I'm still around. But let's take a step back. Let's assume that this speculation of mine is all wrong. Let's assume this isn't the reason I've been given the nudge wink to get the hell out of Dodge. What then? Well, I do have one more idea left. This person recently spoke about a rodent problem in their home. At the time they mentioned it, even they weren't certain whether it was a rat or a mouse, so I spoke to them in DMs. I suggested the idea of using glue traps to catch the rodent. I was very detailed too, but apparently this may have been over the line, yet again. And apparently this is some sort of taboo where if you talk about how to catch live animals with glue, since it counts as not really murder, but close enough, that they might not want to have anything to do with you anymore, which confuses the hell out of me. Why? Because I know a YouTuber, or a bunch actually, who display the use of mouse traps. And very clearly, some of them do kill. This even got so far as getting someone's video taken down, as they had previously mentioned having torn it down since. So if this unwritten rule about catching live creatures you don't want inside your home, and then throwing out to let the rest happen naturally, is what might have upset them instead of the subscription problem, then to them in particular, who I won't even share this video with, because I've also been punished for bringing up the past, then I just have one question for them. If all these YouTubers can get away posting and talking about mouse and rat traps, and even displaying how effective they are, then why the hell can't I? But again, I'm not about to share this video with them, because that would be a complete waste of time. Instead, I'm just going to take the very clear hint, and thank them for helping me cut my losses and step out for good. And again, to anyone else out there listening, consider this the second warning. I haven't tested this with One Vanilla yet, but so far I know One Vanilla hasn't given me problems yet. So instead, this is directed towards secure spend. If you have any non-renewable funds left, funds you have no use for, funds you simply want to get off your hands, and you know somebody, both of you better have either Cash App or PayPal. Because if for whatever reason that card figures out you've used multiple addresses, it will rage quit life and shut itself off. I would know. I just found out the hard way. And what might it have cost me? If not for talking about glue trapping rodents, which I swear on my life this is the last time I ever will. Yet again, participation in another community.